Just 1 second. Then we can start our session.
It shows the meeting is being live streamed.
Yeah, just need a little bit to be done and live streamed properly. Okay. Okay, so thanks a lot. First of all, welcome everyone for today's session. So today is our 21st symposium for the School of Business. Usually in the symposium, we allow our postgraduate learners to present their work before they go ahead for their research proposal or for their viva voce. So usually we have big number of learners and a lot of learners joining and presenting, but for today we have only one learner, which is Nidhi. Nidhi is under the supervision of Dr. Kanishka, and she's preparing for her proposal defense. Nidhi, can you put your presentation in presenter mode, please?
Yes.
Okay. So, Nidhi's title is A Quantitative Study on Motivation and Retention, Drivers Among Frontline Workforce in India Fitness Industry across Indian and international organization. So, Nidhi, you have only 15 minutes. I know during your proposal defense you have more, but we are, for the symposium, we give only 15 minutes. After that, it will be followed by Q&A. The mic with you.
Sure, Professor. Shall I begin?
Yes, please.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in the session. So, topic of my research is a quantitative study on the motivation and retention driver among the frontline workforce in India's fitness industry, be it Indian or the international organization operating within India. So, the context of the study is that the Indian fitness sector is booming, but the high frontline attrition threatens the sustainable brand and the experience of the customers. Now, over the past 10 years, the expansion of this fitness industry is in the double digit. However, the industry per se has been in a very fragmented state, and that reflects in how the workforce has been managed, which necessitates the evidence-based workforce management. Now, there have been rapid expansions. There are boutique studios which are coming up. There are digital platforms which are coming up. There are certain startups which have expanded and scaled up. There are international players who have entered the Indian market and they are trying to make their presence stronger. Now, the friction point which comes in that, like any other service industry, here in the fitness industry also, it is experiencing similar 40 to 50% average attrition rate on an annual basis. Now, which entails customer experience abrasions, because a customer who comes builds a certain kind of rapport, and the staff also understands the nuance, the expectations, what juncture the member is in their fitness journey. Now, when they decide to move on, certain time along with them, this tacit knowledge also moves out. Hence, there is a requirement to look at empirical research for the fitness workforce and understand these dynamics. And it will also enable an actionable data-based HR intervention and sustainable retention strategy. Now, basis this, the research objectives and research questions have been articulated. Research objectives say first, to identify and categorize key intrinsic and extrinsic motivators influencing frontline employees in the Indian fitness industries. Second is to analyze the relationship between motivation, job satisfaction, and employees' intention to stay. Research objective third is to assess the moderating role of demographic and job related variables. These are independent variables, be it age, gender, education, the role they are performing, and the city tier from the locations they are operating on, their motivation and retention. The research questions with reference to this are, what are the most influential motivation factors for the frontline employees in Indian fitness industries is? And how do motivation factors correlate with employees' intent to stay or leave? Do demographic variables, be it age, gender, education, role, or city tiers, significantly impact motivation or retention levels? And question 3, what practical implication do the findings have for HR strategies or leadership development in fitness organization? To look at these, the review of literature was done. Review of literature was done in a very systematic manner. The key aspects were looked at pertaining to motivation, job design, behaviorals, and also narrowed it down to services industry, be it retail, health, or fitness. There were certain studies which were available, but they were more available on external, or sorry, in terms of outside of India. But pertaining to Indian setup, there were hardly any practical or quantitative information available. There were only evidences available in terms of hospitality and hotel industries. Now, the theory framework, which has become the base premises for the research studies, are three. One is self-determination theory, where the core parameters are fulfilling the intrinsic need of autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which drives engagement. Now, to create an understanding how it works for the fitness industry, a fitness trainer derives intense motivation from client transformation. When a client starts their journey, they have a baseline where they define a certain goal basis which they chalk out. These are the milestones going to be. Now, trainer plays a very critical role helping them defining those small targets and also encouraging their client to move towards it. It also gives that autonomy to the trainers how they can drive towards it. And when they see those impact in the change or level of the fitness level change in their client, they also derives that satisfaction. They also get certain time opportunity to do certain certifications. Certain time they see their proficiencies improved as they move from one level to another level. Moving on, job characteristic model. This talks about 5 dimension, be it skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback, and this dictates the job satisfaction. Now, when the personalized training creates those high exceptional, high task identity, as I mentioned in a previous example, it creates that, identity of the individual. The work which I do matters. It creates an impact and it also directly altered the psychological state of the individual. Moving on to the third one, theory of planned behavior. This is the combination of attitude, subjective norms, which means how the peers or people around perceive, and perceived behavioral control, which means what are the option one person has, and formulate intention. And we have noticed, be it research and around, turnover is not sudden. It is a very rational decision one makes, and it happens over a period of time. It's a very planned behavior outcome, which is based on the choices one has and also what is a trigger one faces at the workplace. Moving on. Basis these three conceptual theories, a conceptual framework has been defined which rests on the job satisfaction, mediates the relationship between integrated motivation and turnover intention. So motivation, combination of intrinsic and extrinsic, then the job characteristic, both leads to job satisfaction, which are moderated by the independent variable of individual, be it age, gender, education, role, or the city tier they are operating from. Now, these combination leads to turnover intention, whether they choose to stay or they choose to move out. And from employee standpoint, it is employee retention. And from organization standpoint, it is organizational stability. Basis this, the further hypothesis defined are first, intrinsic motivation in terms of autonomy, competence, and relatedness is negatively associated with turnover intention. Second, extrinsic motivation, which are external to the role, be it pay, incentive, recognition, is negatively associated with turnover intention. but effect sizes will be smaller than for intrinsic motivation when psychological needs are unsupported. Hypothesis 3, job satisfaction is negatively associated with turnover intention. Hypothesis 4, job satisfaction mediates the relationship between intrinsic motivation and turnover intention. B, extrinsic motivation and turnover intention. Fifth hypothesis, which is age or generation, moderates the effect of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation or job satisfaction and turnover intention. Say, younger employee will show stronger link to development and autonomy. Older employee will show stronger sensitivity to stability and pay. Hypothesis 6, role type. Trainer versus sales versus front desk role holder. It moderates the relationship above such that extrinsic rewards are stronger predictor of retention for sales role, while intrinsic factor, which is client outcome, mastery, are stronger for trainers because each role has a given opportunity of scope in terms of engagement, how they are contributing to the given role. Hypothesis 7, city tier moderates the relationship such that employee in metro cities place relatively more weight on growth and autonomy, intrinsic or development, while those in tier 2 or 3 emphasize stability and recognition, be it extrinsic or community recognition, because there is a possibility they could be coming from small towns. Hypothesis 8, a combined model including intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, job characteristic, and job satisfaction will explain a significant portion of variance in turnover intention beyond demographic controls. The proposed research methodology, design and analysis plan entails it's a quantitative research design which is relied on a very structured and descriptive correlation. Approach is kept strictly quantitative and designed objectively to measure psychological stage and behavioral intention at a scale. Design is kept descriptive and correlational, establishing the existence of variables and the mathematical predictive links between them. Method to administer the tool would be structured online distribution to collect the responses across location within India. And for the analysis, factor analysis would be done to validate the construct, and regression would be done to understand the factors which are influencing the outcome, and ANOVA and t-test would be done to evaluate the demographic moderator's impact. The data collection methodology, the sample collection method is kept as stratified random sampling, which ensures accurate representation across highly diverse roles and geographical tiers. So sample size is defined as 300 to 500, and that's basis the Cohen test, which ensures that there is enough sample to run the statistical tests. First factor of stratification is based on the role, be it the trainer role, which is highly physical or physically intense role, client demand, B, sales staff, which is into targets, conversion, and demand. Third is the front desk, high administrative and service oriented. Second stratification layer would be in terms of metro city, high saturation or corporate chains. Second would be in terms of tier 2 or tier 3 cities or emerging market where the localized boutiques are there. Continuing with the proposed research methodology, data collection utilizes global validated academic scales, and 5-point Likert scale is used for the motivational section measurement. Work motivation scale is used for satisfaction, job satisfaction survey, and for retention, the turnover intention scale is used. Contextual adaptation is completed specific to the fitness operation, and strict adherence to would be administered, taking the consent and the protocol to be abided by for the ethical guidelines to be maintained while administering the survey responses. Now, looking at the potential contribution and the limitations, Beyond the academic contribution, this research also bridges the global behavioral theory and data-driven HR strategy for the industry. It helps to understand the exact retention drivers which allows fitness brands to redesign jobs and drive sustainable business performance. First, from academic impact point of view, bridges a critical empirical gap in the emerging fitness workforce data and validates Western psychological construct in a unique and high growth demographic where there is an aggressive growth happening. Second is in terms of strategic HR output, enables tailored compensation models and optimized job design, and helps informed targeted leadership development for the frontline managers. And third is in terms of business ROI, building a stronger evidence-based employee value proposition, significantly reducing chronic hiring and onboarding cost, which helps to improve customer lifetime value through stable and long-term trainer and client relationship. And these are the key references. And that's the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Nidhi, for your presentation. So now the floor is open for anyone want to say any comment, feedback, or ask a question. Before I do. So anyone want to ask any question or give any feedback? Anyone? Okay, so I'll start. Nidhi, can you please, first of all, what is the contribution of what is the gap your research trying to cover? Because when we talk about staff retention, we talk about whether it's in a gym or like fitness sector or whatever, it has a lot of similarities. So why you believe this research, it's really covering a gap which is not covered before?
Because in India, it has been largely an unorganized sector. And now over the past, 8, 10 years, a lot of organization have started coming in. And when I looked into the research data, there is not much I found in terms of the empirical based, research based solutions for it. So that's a gap area which I found. And I feel that a systematic, evidence-based research would help to bridge this gap. It has been unstructured, it has been driven by intuition, how the work has been happening so far.
Okay, so this 40 to 50% it's the what is the rate? Is rate of what?
This is the attrition rate, and this is in the service sector.
This is in which year?
In these past 2, 3 years.
In past 2 years in the fitness sector.
In the fitness sector, and yes.
Okay. Okay, so can we go to your research questions and objectives?
Sure.
So usually when we talk about questions and objective, they should be mapped to each others, which means answering a specific questions, or let's say achieving a specific objective is answering a specific question, right? This is in research. Okay, so I can read your first objective, which is identify and categorize, which is, I don't see it in your question. What are the most influential motivational factors for frontline employees in the Indian fitness industry? So I cannot see that your first objective and first questions are really mapped to each others.
Okay.
Okay. Second objective, analyze the relationship between motivation, job satisfaction, and employee intention to stay, which is you are having your 2 IVs in this objective, right? While when I see your second question is, how do motivation factors I don't know, like motivation factors, you have many factors under motivation. Do you mean that?
Yeah, because it has that both intrinsic and extrinsic, and it
Okay.
correlates with their intent to stay or leave.
So what is the difference between what your first objective and second question? Because in your first objective, you are only identifying, you are not studying any relationship.
Sorry, I didn't follow the second statement. Come again, please.
I'm saying in your first objective, you're only identifying. You are not setting any relationship, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In your second objective, you are analyzing relationship between motivation, which is you didn't mention here motivation factors. You mentioned motivation,
Yeah, here.
job satisfaction, and employee intention. While in your question, you mentioned how do motivation factors correlate with employee intention. I don't see here anything about your job satisfaction, right? Then you continue your question and mention, do demographic variables, age, gender, whatever, significantly impact motivation and retention levels? How you see those two are really connected to each others, which is objective number 2 and question number 2. So now if I achieve objective number 2, did I answer question number 2?
Hmm. Understood. Job
Okay.
satisfaction part is not captured here.
It's not only not captured, it's you mix two things. You put IV, you put the moderators, you forget about the other IV, and you mix all in one question.
Hmm.
Right. And in your third objective, to assess the moderating role. So here you talk about moderation role. When we talk about your third question, what practical implications do the findings have for HR strategy and leadership? This is the outcome of your research. So you don't put it as a question.
Ah.
It is
And
a regular, this is when you build your model, when you test your model, you're gonna to have the practical implication. It's not the question.
hmm.
So
Got it.
what I can see here, your objectives and questions are not connected to each others at all.
No, I got it, but here this one should be into the third one.
You have to discuss it with your supervisor.
Ah. Sure, I'll
Added
do
to
that.
that, added to that, if you go to your hypothesis, here you can see you have 3 questions, right? How many hypotheses do you have?
I have 8.
So let's say if hypothesis number 8, it's significant. Okay, so we are fine with that hypothesis or like is pass. Okay, so is answering which question or achieving which objective? If the hypothesis accepted, okay. So my question, if hypothesis number 8 is accepted, is answering which question or is achieving which objective? Do you have that connection?
Hmm. Directionally second.
There is nothing like, it's not second, it's maybe 20% of the second, which is
Hmm.
doesn't work like this.
Hmm.
When I accept a hypothesis, it means I'm achieving an objective. It means I'm answering a question. I
Hmm.
cannot accept a hypothesis which is only achieving 20% of a specific objective, which is answering 10% of specific question. It doesn't work like this, right?
Noted.
Yeah. Um, let's go to your model.
Yeah, just a second.
I see your model, but can I understand employee retention, organizational stability? Are they second level of that turnover intention, or they are another variables, or they are what?
They are another, like, two dimension explained out of it. So if the turnover intention is clarified, then in terms of employee, the employee's decision to stay or move on. And then for organization aspect, it is the stability factor and the member experience which gets affected.
So, because when I see this, I can understand regardless anything before the intention. I can see intention is an IV for employee retention and organization stability. Am I wrong or am I right?
You're saying before this, like that.
Yeah, forget anything before the intention. If I see this part of the model itself, okay?
Yeah.
So I will read it as intention is an IV, employee retention and organization stability are DV. Am I wrong or am I correct?
It is. It
I,
has. It has.
sorry?
I'm saying that it has these two branches that it leads to employee staying or employee moving out, and also the organizational stability also.
Okay, can you tell me those two variables where they are reflected in your questions and objectives? This is intention to stay. What about the other two variables?
Organization part is not there.
So you're having two variables which are not part of your research questions or objectives, which is I can see what you are trying to tell me. There are, I can say, second layer, which are dimensions of the DV. They are not a separate variables, which is you don't need to draw it like this. And if you go back to your model, um, this is not how we draw the moderation, because what I can see now from your this graphical way thing, that moderators, they moderate the relation between motivation and job satisfaction. They moderate the relation between job characteristics and job satisfaction. Also, they moderate the relation between job satisfaction and turnover intention. That's what I can read from the graphical presentation I have here, which is I don't think that what you are studying.
But the way you narrated is correct. That's how it is.
So you are studying those moderators to moderate those three relationships.
They are independent variables and they will have impact on these factors.
They are independent or they are moderators?
They are moderators.
Okay, so they are moderating what relationship?
The motivation and job satisfaction, job characteristic and job satisfaction, then job satisfaction and turnover intention.
So they are moderating all those relationships.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it in your objectives and the questions that you are studying this tree moderation thing. I didn't see it. Anyhow, if you mean that, so the middle arrow also has nothing to do in this graphical presentation. Or are you studying also as IV for job satisfaction? I don't think so, right? Anyhow, I'm just asking that I'm just like putting what I'm seeing. So it's a discussion between you and your supervisor, and at the end is for the examiner to check. But I'm just letting you know that from a point of view of examiner, when I see that, I will ask those questions.
Sure, noted.
Okay? Okay. So can we go to your uh, methodology? Okay, so you're using quantitative. It's very logical. But if yeah, can you go to the second slide? The slide after that? Okay. So I see you mentioned stratified random sampling. Why you choose the stratified random sampling exactly?
To have the representation correctly, and that's why the factors also defined that a right representation comes from the trainer cohort, then from the sales staff, then from the administrator staff, and then from the geographically and the types of chains also accordingly.
So when we talk about geographical things, we use cluster sampling. We don't use a stratified sampling. Stratified sampling usually when we have strata, which they are not similar, then we divide them to similar strata. So I can understand the first layer of your division, like we are talking about the trainer, the sales staff, and the front desk. I can understand that. But when we come to the geographical area, so it's different. So we don't need to call it stratified random sampling. You maybe call it, um, there's another sampling method. It's multi-level sampling, which is you can use stratified, then you can use a cluster, then inside that you can use the random sampling. So it's good if you read about it. This is first. Second, I want to ask, like, I see you're asking the opinion of the trainers, the sales staff, the front desk, but I believe in your introduction you mentioned the main concern are the trainers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Both are there, but I think in my examples I talked more about the trainers.
So my question is the problem is it that trainers are leaving the industry or leaving that gym, going to another gym or whatever, or is the sales staff or the front desk?
Both.
What is the main issue?
Both of them have the challenge.
So you mean any staff in the organization, in that organization?
Right. See,
So
the
my question, what is the difference between the front desk in gym and front desk in bank and front desk of another industry?
The difference comes for the front desk of the gym is that they will have relatively more understanding on the fitness products, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of offering it is, what kind of packages are there, whereas it is different for the other cohort.
Mm-hmm.
However, the trainers would be very technical and they will be limited to the fitness industry only until
Mm-hmm.
unless they do something dramatically very, very different and then they change.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you may think about that, but my advice is to focus into what is really matter to that industry, like the trainers. Because in that industry, when you talk about salespeople, you can find the same salesperson selling for gym and selling for like chocolate. They are totally two opposite. One is to lose weight, one to gain weight, but is a salesperson, right? From desk, I can say I'm not. Yes, they are somehow specialized in the selling the service or giving the service, but I believe the main concern of the research can be the trainers, because those who are having more relation with the clients, those who really means a lot to the gym itself. Like example, I will go to specific branch of specific gym because I know there's personal trainer who's very famous in the industry or whatever, for that reason. But I will not have that same concern if there is a specific front desk personnel in that branch. You get my point? So you may think about that and see. And my last question, I have two questions left. Let me open the floor for others if anyone have question before I ask my two another questions. Anyone want to ask any question or give any feedback? No one. Okay, so my last two questions. Okay, first question, I see your target sample 300 to 500. So based on what you calculate that number?
So this I checked in for the sample ka, the based on this one study I came across, which is done in the other parlance. And there also it was showing that this is a good size, and it also reflected something, a Cohen analysis, which said that a minimum sample size of 300 to 500 respondent is a healthy size, which ensures adequate statistical power for detecting the medium effect size in regression and ANOVA.
But don't you feel 300 to 500? It's very huge gap.
It's a
Like,
big range, you are saying?
yes, like, check again about the sample size. There is very easy table called Crunchy and Morgan. Refer to it. It will give you exact number, not between 300 to 500, okay?
Sure.
And
What?
that is Crunchy and Morgan. You just put sample size, Crunchy and Morgan table. So it will tell you based on your population size, there is a specific number which is accepted for a sample size. So
Sure.
I believe in your case, it will be like 350 plus.
Noted.
Okay?
I'll check that out.
Yeah, my last questions. If we can go to slide number 11. I see potential contribution, business ROI. Can you tell me how your research will help in improving the return on investment for the business?
As the say stability in the team comes in, the new hire, the hiring cost goes down, and the new hire training goes down, and then the existing customer and their association with the trainer continues, or a center staff continues. So renewals goes up, and then the client understanding, client stage, what they are, where they are going to be, continues. So that is the piece which will help.
That all is talking about HR and staff and retaining the staff. Has nothing to talk about ROI. Your research is not contributing to the ROI of the business itself. Yes, it's contributing to give strategies for HR to retain the trainers, contributing to reducing the cost of a new hiring, contributing to all of this. I agree 100%. But is it contributing to ROI? There is no direct contribution. So we cannot consider it as a contribution. So when I always advise learners, when we want to talk about the contribution or even we want to have the discussion of the outcome of our research, we should have the direct outcome of our research. Not, okay, because of this outcome, so when we build it with other factors, then it's gonna to have another thing, then we're gonna to have to that outcome. It's not your research outcome.
Noted.
Yeah.
Wherever
So
it's
let's be
direct.
more direct. Yes. The direct one, which is, yes, as you mentioned, HR policies, strategies, reducing the
Cost of hiring and cost of training, that can be
yes,
easily done.
yes, yes.
And the cost of
Even,
facility which goes into it.
yeah, so even that is all, yes, is a contribution. But when we go beyond that, there are a lot of factors which is not studied in your research.
Yeah,
So it's not a contribution for that, okay?
sure. Noted.
So, but overall, as a topic, as study, I believe it's something new. I never come across of research talking about specifically for the this type of industry.
Yeah,
So it's good to study it, but as I mentioned, as research, there's a lot of points need to be considered. Okay.
sure. Noted.
Yeah. So anyone want to mention any feedback or to ask any question? Anyone?
Dr. Rana, this is Kanishk Bedi.
Yes,
Thank you
Dr.
so much for
Kanishka.
your feedback. Yeah. So the thing is, your feedback is tremendous help to Nidhi in improving her chances of passing the proposal defense, which is coming forth very soon.
Yeah.
So I thank you profusely for this. It is at the right time. And the thing is, most learners, because of their enthusiasm, they try to, and it's natural also, they try to project more than what is expected out of a DBA research. And
Yeah.
that is what has, and stopping them, and then, but the feedback which comes from outside, it strikes more closely to home, which means it makes the learner realize that overstating things and putting extra words in research questions, etc., may may look good, but it defeats the basic purpose of the research. So we will work on this feedback, and then by the time the research proposal defense happens, we would have slightly changed the questions, objectives, and then even the hypothesis and conceptual model. So these modifications, hopefully in the next few days, we'll work on. And by the time we reach the defense date, we would have made these changes right in time before the actual thing happens. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kanishka, for that. Yeah, actually, this is the main aim of having our symposium, that we
Yes.
give the chance for learners to hear also other people's opinion, because always when we see the things is different. Sometimes we feel it's all smooth and connected, but when other like third eye check our work, is like always adding value. So, and it's also thanks a lot for being here and even for supporting Nidhi to reach this stage. I want just to make a comment here. If any changes will be done, we should inform the school, because we should inform that to the examiner prior to the proposal
Yes.
defense time.
Sure,
Okay.
sure,
Absolutely.
Professor.
Yes. So please,
Surely we'll
you
do
have to
that.
let us. Yes.
Same will be done and uploaded on the LMS.
You have to let me know before that, okay? So I can
Sure.
update the examiner about that. So as I mentioned today, we have only one presenter, which is Nidhi. So I will mention again, congratulations, Nidhi, for reaching to this stage. And the proposal defense, or even the symposium and the proposal defense, is a stage for us to improve our work.
Yeah.
And to always make it better. And that's what we always mention. I want to repeat also to everyone, the feedback we give in during the symposium, even the feedback given by the examiner, are always for betterment of your research. So always think it in positive way, and I believe all of us, we always look forward to have our research as the best product possible. So let's improve on that, let's work on that, and wish to soon you pass your proposal defense, and also soon you finish your research and get your title. Okay. So
Thank
all
you.
the best, Nidhi, and thanks a lot for all of those who attended today. I'm gonna to see you in 2 weeks' time for another research symposium. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Dr. Kanishk. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, Dr.